A well-informed citizenry, being necessary for a healthy democracy, relies on the news business, but the news business is not healthy. Paul Farhi writes in The Atlantic, quote, "No corner of national media seems unaffected." He says recent data shows a nearly 50% increase in job losses among print, digital, and broadcast news organizations in 2023. The editor-in-chief of the Texas Tribune told Farhi this could signal the beginning of a, quote, extinction-level event for the news industry. And joining us now is the author of that article, former Washington Post media reporter and now freelance writer, Paul Farhi. We should also note, Paul is the father of our dear colleague, CBS News senior White House producer, Arden Farhi. Paul, I got a lot of questions about Arden, but let's forget that for a moment. The U.S. economy is booming. Unemployment is low, and there's a presidential election year, which usually is good for media. So what's happening? Why all the layoffs?
Yeah, that's what makes it so ominous, John, that you have all these things that superficially, at least, should make things look pretty good in the media business. We usually benefit from a presidential year. The economy is pretty good, as you mentioned, and yet things are going south. There have been a number of layoffs announced just in the past few days. Last Tuesday, we saw the Los Angeles Times cut about 20% of its newsroom. This has been replicated across a number of national organizations. And also, we've had many years of cutbacks on the local level. So things not going well at all.
And what are some of the contributing factors? And are they recent or are they a long time coming?
Well, it's a mix of both, I'd say. We've had a long period in which the internet has taken over that changed everybody's media consumption habits. But lately, we've seen advertising stall out. We've seen subscriptions begin to lag. That might be an inflationary factor, that people have less money, or maybe they have too many subscriptions with streaming services, don't want to subscribe to a publication. Facebook and Google, which get most of the local advertising now, have changed their algorithms that drive people away from or toward news content. So these things are all adding up. But one more factor is there might be something called news fatigue, which is people are just kind of tired of the news and the kind of bad news that we've had for a very long time.
I may come back to you on news fatigue, but let me ask you about local news, which is so important. They're seeing extraordinary shrinkage in local newspapers. Connect that with what local news does in terms of creating a news consumption habit that's crucial for this question of democracy.
Well, local news is the kind of news that you can touch and feel and that affects you most directly. You know, we're all interested in what the president is doing, what Congress is doing, but stuff that's happening around the corner or down the street or at your local school with your crime rate in your neighborhood, those are the things that really hit people literally where they live. And the local news business has been in crisis for quite some time. We've seen this hollowing out, this ghosting of the news, as it's been called, at the local level through cutback after cutback among newspapers especially. And you talk about your extinction event, the hundreds of weekly newspapers around the country that have been going under for the last couple of decades. They've left this kind of void in a lot of places where there is no professional news reporting. They're called news deserts now, and it's a growing phenomenon.
You write, expecting some kind of free market-based turnaround is lunacy. So what are some of the alternatives to improve this bleak picture?
Well, most of the alternatives put forward are government-based, that is to say, public policy changes that would benefit the news media industry. Now, this is not advocacy, this is simply reporting. One of them is to impose something like they've imposed in Australia, which is giving publishers the ability to negotiate directly with Google and Facebook, the two largest tech platforms, for compensation when the tech platforms use their news content on their sites. The mechanism by which this is enforced is that if the tech platforms don't want to negotiate, the government can step in and declare a winner and a loser and say to Facebook and Google, you owe X amount of dollars. So far in Australia, it's led to some real transfers, real exchanges of money, in which the platforms have passed about $130 million a year to media organizations. There's a proposal in the US Senate. So far, it's gone nowhere. That's similar to this kind of bargaining code. Canada has passed one. Other countries are considering the same thing.
Paul Farhi, writing in The Atlantic, where it's very good to see you. And thanks so much for being with us, Paul.
Thank you, John.